President Trump called off the strikes that he had promised, or a promised return to the air campaign in the Middle East. He had agreed or had said that he would return to bombing after a downed Apache helicopter at the beginning of the week had brought about retaliatory strikes by the U.S. Air Force. It looked like they hit possible launch strikes, possible bases or things like that that the Iranians could launch weaponry from. And they have proven, although the military had said or determined that the capabilities of Iran had been reduced, that they are still capable of launching missiles and things like that. Those are basically those sites that they had attempted to hit in those defensive strikes earlier in the week. But the president backed off from the full assault or full return to hostilities because of a promised deal from the Iranians. The deal, according to what was leaked by a White House official, said that this deal would work out the enriched uranium. Not clear who would take that, and the reopening of the strait. All of those things which have been points of contention. Not clear whether the Iranians will uphold their end of the bargain. I have my doubts on that based on what we've seen in the past with them. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was clear to note that Israel is not part of the deal, but that the Israeli defense minister is hoping that Trump will honor Israel's needs in that agreement. Israel wants to see a weakening of Iran's ability to fire missiles at all, given that they are in proximity. Again, as we have mentioned in the history of this broadcast, that Europe is well in proximity of those missiles that they are capable of firing. But in any case, Israel wants to make sure that they are protected, and rightly so. But they are battered at this point. What it appears to be is that Iran is weakened for sure, but not totally obliterated, as the president's rhetoric would suggest. The strategic goals that he had set out to accomplish, such as destroying that ability to fire missiles, again, weakened, but not totally done away with. Now, I have advocated for at least going in there and bombing more strategic targets to make sure that Iran does not have the capability of rebuilding quickly, that it would set them back far enough to make it so that Iran is not a problem for the rest of our lifetimes. Total defeat would likely require boots on the ground, which the U.S. does not want to do in any conflict, whether that's this administration, the Obama administration, or any of the past few. And that is noteworthy going forward for our adversaries like China, that is facing an oil shortage because of this conflict. As the Wall Street Journal notes, the problems with China's oil imports and the uncertainty there over how long they can endure the uncertainty in the market and the lack of imports from Iran. So that is all important to watch, because as I have stated, what is happening in the Middle East is far from a Middle East alone problem. very much it will have far-reaching implications for the balance of power and certainly the U.S. standing in the world for years to come.